Hey there, lads and lasses. This here, of course, is Thunderhand64 coming at you live from the west coast of the United States here on a Wednesday. It is a little bit past noontime, and that can only mean that it's time for some Generations Baby Zombie Rush Beta. Right. And so, let's just, without further ado, let's get right into it. Because we have a lot to do today. Or, we have a lot to try to accomplish today. It's not a lot as in quantity, but significance, yeah. Okay, let's do this. By the way, Buffooncraft SMP recently updated to 121.10. Copper golems, copper armor, the spear, you know, with the Nautilus and all that. Zombie horses, the whole works. So be looking for that stream on Friday. But right now, it's Baby Zombie Rush. Let's do that. Okay, here we are doing this, and we're doing that. Multiplayer, which is a little ironic in the case of Generations, but Generations is still at 121.6 right now. But I'm thinking we'll be updating that soon. Part of me thinks I want to update it to 1.21.10, like at the beginning of January, like the new year, because it's only like 2 months away. But I'm thinking 2 months might be a little too long. So, okay, what we were working on was we were working on the Aqua Parkour. That little feature right there. And the idea behind this, just to refresh your memory, because it's been so very long. A player comes around the corner, they decide maybe they want to enter this way. None of this stuff will be here that's visible. They'll enter into this area, and when they do, a barrier will move into place or appear here. It's such that the player can't get out above it or below it or anything, but the baby zombies can fit under it. And then these parkour features, this will flood with water. Parkour features will come up out of the ground here, so the player can parkour if they so desire. The baby zombies will, of course, either way, try to pursue them across by wading through the water. When the player gets to this side, they click the button and they will receive some gifts. And then everything should be on a timer to retract. By the time they get back over to here, this will drain. Those will recess back into the wall. The barrier will drop and they'll come back out. And that's what I wanted to have done. Now, I've got all of these features working, save for the barrier. The barrier turned out to be the hardest part. So we have the floor being flooded. That certainly works. And we have the parkour features popping out of the walls and retracting. That certainly works. We have pressing the button and the dispensing of the goodies. That certainly works. So we have all those features. The part that proved to be problematic, is this part here. Hey, welcome on in, Dora. So this part here with the barrier, I wanted to try when I'm building the Baby Zombie Rush game here, I'm trying to use as much survival mode redstone as I possibly can. But I do reach some situations where I need something to function and I just can't do it with redstone, or I just can't do it in a reasonable amount of time. And so this is one of those cases. I tried every way I could to try to think of a way to have pistons move a barrier into place and then remove them and stuff like that. And you know what? I've just drawn the conclusion that I've wasted enough time on this. I should just use the command blocks for this. I've always had that on the back shelf waiting to go, and I was thinking about it over the last couple of days, and I'm pretty much resigned to the fact. No, I am. I'm resigned to the fact that I'll just use command blocks. So when the player will cross these blocks, maybe actually here. It'll trigger the command block. The command block will spawn in the barrier, preventing them from leaving. The command block will also spawn in a barrier, a redstone block down here, which will activate all of the things, all of the features. Then when the player gets down to here and they press a button here, it will activate a second circuit that will deactivate all of this stuff, and a second command block that will then delete the barrier. That's what I'm thinking I'm going to do, because, you know, I can't really just spend forever on this one feature. I think I've wasted enough streams and stuff on this. It's not really wasted, you know, but, you know, we just can't really devote that kind of time. I'm sure eventually I would think of something here to do this with just good old survival redstone. But, you know, it would involve moving this feature to one of the sides and stuff like that. It would involve that kind of stuff, and I really don't feel like doing that, all of that. So I'll just resort to the command blocks. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to be working on command blocks and getting at least the command block to spawn in the barrier, and then the secondary command block, which deletes it afterwards. So yeah, welcome on in, Dora, fellow buffoon, newest buffoon. And you should see the auto shout out up there for Dora Splora. Dora's been putting in some serious hours on the server, so please go check out her stream when you get a chance. You'll not be disappointed. So that's what I'm thinking here, right? And so let's place in. So I've made a mock-up of the area over there out here, and we'll get it to work out here first. So you can imagine the player coming down here. They decide to, you know, detour right. They come in here, and then when they cross these blocks, we need a barrier to appear directly behind them, so then they can't come back out. But the barrier has to be such. The barrier. I gotta move away from the mic here a little bit. Maxing out the. Got a little too much gain on my mic. Maybe something like that. And so I'm thinking just a bunch of slabs, maybe across like that. See, the player can't crouch underneath them, but they can't jump up over them. But baby zombies, since it's one block difference, baby zombies can certainly pass underneath. And so that's all I'm really going to do here. Right? And there's no way at all for the player to get up and over this, but the baby zombies can get through there. So then the player will then proceed through the parkour, get their goodies at the end, come on back. These will retract, the water will drain, and then the secondary command block will delete these blocks. But I'm thinking about something. When the player then goes to proceed across this, it will activate all of that again. So there is that problem. There is that problem. All right. Plus, we have to place the command block somewhere too. So let's first work on reverting this back to the way we had it. Cleaning up our mess here. We'll do that first. There we go. Oh yeah, also we had the dimensions to this part wrong, and so we do need to move this stuff back by one block. That also happened, right? So all of this has to come back here by one block. I think that's what we were working on there. Right. I think the idea was to do something like that. And then we just move everything back by one block. That feature can stay right there. Let's see. You know what we can do here? Let's see. Oh, we can, I think I can just leave this right in place if I do this, right? Yeah. Well, no. I can leave this in place. I can just move this one forward. That's what I'm trying to say. And what am I doing here? Yeah, if that's the case, then all I'll need here is just a blob of redstone like that. Maybe one more repeater. The thing of this, though, is that won't activate that block. Let me see. This will drop down into place like this. This may do it if I just put it here. No. Okay. See, that'll bring that down. It will do that, though. So one of the other things we can do is we can do that kind of thing. And then maybe just put some redstone right across. I mean, it's not bad. It's not great, but it's not bad. You can do something like that. So then, baton. Here we are. Stone baton. Well, I already had one in the inventory. Whatever. All the features are in place. Good. All the features are removed except that one. What's going on? Okay, yeah. So this is, I was concerned with the quasi connectivity. There. And I was not wrong to be concerned about that. All right, I can work something out here. Welcome on in, Angel. Good afternoon. You can see the auto shout out up there for honorary buffoon Angel by you. Stone butt tone. I made a bad reference. How are you? I am doing excellent, thank you. How about yourself? For us Americans, Thanksgiving's coming up. I'm so excited. I know a lot of you overgrown children just like to skip over Thanksgiving and just go Halloween right to Christmas and then Halloween again right to Christmas all year long. But some of us like Thanksgiving because we go out of our way to make sure that Thanksgiving stays just a small little family thing with just our little Thunderhand family. And we love that. Yeah. Biggie comes home from university for a little over a week. So Thanksgiving's like really exciting for us. So, and of course, my good friend and IRL friend, local to us here, PC and Coffee. PC! Sheesh! I just love turkey and mashed potatoes. Yeah, me too. I've had turkey a little too often though in my 61 years on this planet. So okay, Angel. No, you can spell. You can spell potatoes. You just can't type it. That's why they're called typos and not spellos. PC, what's up, buddy? But yeah, as I was saying, I like. I think I was drunk again. Yes, you can certainly steal that. Wisdom of Thunderhand. Just got home from physical therapy. Ooh, shoulders, right? From doing all that CPR in the ER. Yep. Yeah, we talked about that. I remember that. So, like I was saying, yeah, I've grown a little tired of the turkey. So what I like to do is I still have turkey occasionally. Like I don't think it was last year. It might have been the year before we had turkey because Kachi and Biggie reminded me. They said, but we've never had turkey for Thanksgiving. And I'm like, really? And I thought about it and I'm like, yeah, they probably have it. I said, okay, we'll have turkey this once. If you guys really want turkey, we'll have turkey. So I think it was either last year or the year before. I made them the turkey for Thanksgiving, just so they can say they had it. But we usually like to have a pot roast for Thanksgiving. So I'll make a big honking delicious pot roast. Yeah, I really like that. Did someone say turkey and mash? There's Nova. How you doing, buddy? The prime buffoon himself. Mr. Relic. I'm well. And thank you, sir, for the awesome update on the Buffooncraft server. I was just talking about that earlier. Buffooncraft server has now been updated to 1.21.10. So we have the copper golems, the nautiluses, zombie horses, all that cool stuff, spears, all that kind of stuff. Week off. Nice. All right, yeah, so we're going to get the quasi-connectivity thing doing this away. So let me think. I could. What if I have it drop out this? I should have done this before. I had it drop out this side. I could still move this one more block down, I think. And then I can use the target block and that solves everything, right? So let's do that. There we go. And. Let me see now, when this comes up through here, this will push the block upward like that, and then this will read that block space down below. We should be good. Let me just grab a observer from over here. And Lone Star! Hey, welcome on in, Lone. Doing a wee bit of the baby zombie rush today. I'm going to try to do some command block stuff, which I've not done in ages. So trying to remember the syntax for some of that coding is going to be... But I have my collaborator, ChatGPT, on standby. All right, yeah, let's just move everything down by one block. I think I have enough room for that here. Actually, it has to be ahead of that a little bit, right? Not necessarily. Not necessarily. It could do that, and that way we prevent the quasi-connectivity. And let me see. Yeah, we can do that right there. We can do another one right here. I think if I do this here, I'll get quasi-connectivity here. Right, like if I place it there, and then I remove it, I get the quasi-connectivity this way. That's why I'm going to use 2 target blocks here. Which is, you know, it's a little janky, but it's not that bad. Think how I want to go about this. I think something like this. And then it can just push the block right down into here. And since we have this running this way, let me see. How do I want to do this? You know, I could just do something like that, I'm thinking. Oh, no, this has to drop down like this. When it does, that pops that into place. And then it retracts everything. Okay, but we're not getting that working because of that piston. Okay, so if that's the case, we should be able to just put a... Oh yeah, that's not going to do its thing. So we can do this. That'll activate in the wrong kind of way. Let me see. Just opened up a fresh bag of coffee beans. The smell. Oh yeah, I hear you. QC success, yes. Mouton glorious, nice. Do you like the dark roast beans? Medium roast, light roast? They're Nova. I like the dark roast ones because I'm an American, so they got to be like absolutely charred, burned, black, like the Italian. Let's see. How do I want to go about this? We could see. There's not enough room to quite turn this 90 degrees. If I had the piston here, I could avoid that. It's just that this is a little bit... Oh, I could flip it around to the other side, too. I could flip it around to the other side. I could also bring it right up to the top, although you might be able to see it from the top, which is a little bit jank. But that would push that downward. I mean, that would hit that like that. And if that's the case, if I was doing that, I might not... Like if that were here and this were there. And then that drops down like that. You could do like a two-piece kind of thing here. Right? you could put one there and one there like this with that there, and that would power into all of that. I mean, it's not ideal, but whereas it's on the inside here, no one's gonna see it. Very dark. I just recently started drinking after never being a coffee drinker. Really? Dark as Flying Villager's soul, indeed. The darker, the stronger, the more bitter. Not necessarily. Yeah, PC and coffee. Not necessarily. It depends on how you prepare it. Okay. So we have these features in place here, all set to go. And I'll tell you what. Let's make a little access right here. And then we'll drop down into here. We'll remove all of this stuff here. And now, since I've decided... Oh, let me do this. Now, since I've decided to go with command blocks for this this part here, which I know, boo! I'm with you. But since I've decided to do that... Uh-oh. Really? It's still doing quasi-connectivity, huh? Let me see. If I have it just plunge the block straight down, I'm thinking when I remove the block, it's not going to pull it back up, and it won't. All right, the last resort is to have it push the block sideways, but... Yeah, that's always my line. I like my coffee like I like my women. Bitter. I gotta have a little milk and a little bit of sugar. It's a little too bitter for me. All I do is, for 1 pint of coffee, I have about 1 tablespoon of like Bailey's. But I don't do it to take off the bitterness because that's not enough to counteract a really, like I make the coffee really strong, right? So it just like evens it out, makes it a little heavier, and it gives it like that nutty kind of taste to it. I like it. Black, strong, and bold, Riz! Totally. I've got a machine, so I just do the strongest strength for a cappuccino or have an Americano in the mornings. I grind the beans with just a hand coffee grinder, and that's good enough. And then I do the pour over. So I pour about half of the water, wait for about maybe 3 minutes, 4 minutes, and then the other half. And that's for like strong amount of caffeine. But like if I have one in the afternoon, which is rare, I'll do less caffeine. So I'll just pour all the water right in and just, so the less time it spends in the water, the less caffeine you're going to get out of it, right? So Bailey's, that's right. Yeah, now I'm talking to you guys. It's going to be difficult to do redstone. Let's see. I can put these right up against that, I think, without any adverse effects. I think I'm okay with that. Yeah, we can do that. Let's get that out of there. You know, that's one of the challenges of something like Baby Zombie Rush here. It's trying to shoehorn all this stuff into this little space. These little spaces. It makes my job difficult. Let's see. So let me see. This will push this up into this area. I need one more actually. One right about there. That's what I need. Okay, so now I have enough room here to do some cool stuff. And, you know, it's the freaking quasi-connectivity that makes things difficult. We do coffee press 10 minutes. Ooh, 10 minutes. All right, guys, I got to go. Have a great day. Hey, PC, thanks for dropping in and saying hi, man. We'll get together soon because holidays are coming up, right? And you and I also have a PC to build pretty soon, right? So PC and Coffee and I have to replace the old PC. And so I'm putting together some funds to do that. And then PC and I are thinking that we might build that together on stream. I too have to run. Have a great rest of your day. Ooh, more PC building. Yeah, we might stream that. We might stream it. So I'll order all the parts ahead of time, and then he and I will pick all the parts out, and then we might put it together on stream. So we'll see. Hope to catch that one. It's going to be a while for now. I got to put together the funds first, but we're a little bit tight for cash, especially now with a holiday season. But we'll be doing that pretty soon. Hopefully, we'll see. That might be a stream like occasionally when I like do some work on my bass guitar, I pre-record it ahead of time, and then I'll play the recording on the stream, and then I'll just narrate it live. I might do that. But anyways, Angel, thanks for dropping in. Have a good rest of your day. Enjoy your coffee. Flying Villager. Speaking of Dark Souls. Nova, I believe you've summoned the Flying Villager. Oh, we're working on Baby Zombie Rush today. Let me see. I'm thinking if I drop this, I can either drop it down or I can drop it across. And the thing of it is, right, we can do this. We're going to have a little bit of jankiness right there, maybe. Yes, I do want that to go that way. So comparator going into this, drops that down. Okay, good. I don't like that situation. I mean, it's not bad. It's okay, but see, if I did that, we're going to be okay with that. But oh yeah, that's right. We can't bring redstone out of that directly like that. So we're probably going to have to do something like that. And then this won't activate that directly either, because that's the nature of target blocks. Now, we can change that, but this is certainly good enough. It's a little bit jank, but... And am I too proud to do jank redstone in front of folks like Nova and Villager? The answer to that is no, I'm not too proud for that. I'll do it. All right, there we go. Okay, so let's do that for right now, and then we'll put in the activation circuit right into here. Let's get some... All right, yeah, here we go. So we can do this right here. And we're just doing this kind of thing where it will push a block up from down below. So which one runs which here? Okay, I think this was formerly running that. Let's do this. Let's see. Can do something like that. And then we'll drop in the sticky piston from above. Like that. And then we'll put this on here like this. And so the idea is when we trigger this circuit that will trigger all of this stuff, it pushes this block up just temporarily so the observer can see it, and then it'll kick off this and put in all the parkour features, right? And then it'll retract it when it's done. So, and for right now, we can just use a lever for that. And then we should get everything, right? Yeah, then we get all the parkour features on this side of the wall, right? And then when it deactivates, they should all retract back into the wall, leaving no trace at all that anything was ever even here. That one is on a separate part, so we got to link that up. But also, I did retract the flooding dispensers by one block, but I don't have to do that now. I can bring them back because we decided to go with the we've decided to go with the command block to activate this. Let's see if I can get this in place. Can I? No. It has to be the other way. Okay. We'll just drop it in from above. That would be the bestest way to do it. Oh, I think I already did that. Yeah, because I want it to flood right to here. Right? So yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Well, you know, this is the thing about coming back to this like every other week. I forgot what I did. Okay, and how did I go about activating this? Okay. So this is what's going to happen. Let's retract that one. So there should be auto shoutouts up there for both Nova and Relic. Nova and Villager right there. Yeah, good. My fellow buffoons, the buffoon devs. Okay, that should be in that state when the lever is activated. And then in this state when it's not. So we do have a stream coming up when Biggie comes back from university. He's in his third year of his electrical engineering degree over there. And right now he's doing the Boolean algebra with the logic gates. And I was telling him, oh, son. That, my friend, has some Minecraft applications. So he and I are going to set up some of the, in the creative test world, not in the beta world, the zombie BZR beta world. We're going to do it in the test world. We're going to do a stream where we're going to do logic gates. We're thinking. So we'll set up a NOT gate. We'll set up a the AND and the OR gates. Then we'll set up the NOR gate. maybe the NAND gate, the XAND and the XOR gates. And then we'll probably show some applications of those. Like the NOR gate is probably the most popular one. There's Sage. A NOT gate, a yes gate. A not gate. So, yeah, so Biggie wanted to get me to help him with the Boolean algebra stuff. So I said, hey, let's do that in Minecraft. And he says to me, you can do that in Minecraft? And I'm like, yes, all of this stuff is logic gates. Really? I said, yeah, ask your professor. And his professor says, oh yeah, you can totally practice your circuits in Minecraft. So, all right. So again, just a quick review of what's happening here. Welcome on in, Sage, by the way. Viewers, auto shout out up there. So yeah, player comes around and they can take these two options here. If they turn right, the command block will see them cross over some of these blocks here and activate the circuits. And what will happen is the command block will spawn in the barrier here. Like I said at the beginning of the stream, will spawn in the barrier so the player can't get back out. But the baby zombies being one block high can still run underneath. Right? And then the path should flood, which will slow the player down, slow the baby zombies down. But the parkour features should pop out of the wall. So the player has the option. I'm in creative mode and I still can't parkour. Bubba, please. That's right. You have to get right on the edge of the stair. So, yeah, the player has the option of parkouring across the parkour while the baby zombies slowly wade across. That's the idea. And then hopefully the player gets to the other side before the baby zombies do. They press the button and they're given some gifts. And I can just show you those gifts right now. So they get a shillelagh with knockback 2 on it. And they get a pair of galoshes with Depth Strider 3. Let's see, night right here. Let's do this. Okay. I can see clearly now. And so when they do activate this, so there'll be a clock that activates this. It will then remove these features. Hopefully by the time the player with the Depth Strider 3 boots zips right past the baby zombies, whacking them out of the way, they'll get to here. This will drain, those will retract. The command block will delete these, and then the player goes on their merry way. But the baby zombies, since this will drain probably when they're about maybe halfway across, that'll be a timing thing we'll have to work out. When they're about halfway across, it'll drain. The baby zombies will then pursue at their regular speed. The player gets a little bit of a head start down here. But then this should be all reset and ready to go again. So that's the plan. Do you need night vision? Not really. It's just occasionally when I'm dipping down below here. It's pretty dark down here. So when I'm doing redstone down here, it's just I can see pretty good, but sometimes the viewers can't really see what's going on. So then these things will retract like that. And then hopefully when the command block deletes these, there's no indication here that anything ever happened here at all. So certainly this sign won't be in place, right? This is just to help us keep track of the many dead ends that have the Baby Zombie Rush features in them, right? So we can remove all of this stuff, I'm thinking. And so now we have a couple of things we need to do. we must make some decisions. We need an overall circuit that's going to be in place that will activate all of these features pretty much at the same time. So that has to happen. So we need to create a bus, really, that'll run all of these, right? Then we need to place both of the command blocks and then program them. So I have a simulation over here, a simulated area that we can work that out, in which we can work that out. And then we're going to need the clock. The clock will be activated off of this. And that will hit the secondary command block and then despawn. It'll shut all of these things back off and then reset them. And then it will also delete the activate the second command block that'll delete these. There is one problem I do have to think about, and that's when the player runs across here and runs across these blocks, it'll activate the command circuit. It'll activate the command block, that'll activate everything. But then when the player comes back out through here again, if they cross those to come back out, it'll activate everything again. So I need some way of preventing that from happening. So that's going to be a little funky to do. I no longer need this here. All right, and so this is what we're working with here, basically. So I'm thinking, and temporarily, let's just mark some of this stuff out here with some slabs. And I'm thinking when the player crosses here, that might be the activation point. Of course, these will be disguised like the rest of these, so but it's just helping us place the blocks underneath, right? And as I said earlier, I really don't want to have to use command blocks here. I try to use the survival redstone as much as possible, but there's just, time-wise, there's just no way around it, really. All right, so give where did it go? I think it just goes in your inventory, right? So if I do that command again. There it is. Okay. Might have dropped down onto the ground, but... All right, so I'm thinking maybe 2 command blocks. I think location-wise, maybe 1 there and 1 there. Just, why not, right? But you know what? I should really put the bus into place first. Yeah, let's do that. And so I'm just going to place one of these on the ground here so I can select it, and I don't have to use the give command each time. So I have to activate that, this, and this. Oh, and this one as well. All right, so it looks like 1 bus going right across here. And that kind of smacks of rails. Powered rails? And I'm thinking maybe this exact kind of thing here. Yeah, right. I forgot. So this is running off an inverter, right? So default state is on, right? But I do have inversion right here too, so I can do this a little better. So here's our first example of a NOT gate. Yeah, if I take all these out. There. I could do that kind of a deal. But again, you know, there's often I think of these things after the stream when it doesn't matter. But there's usually better ways of doing things. You know, Thunder, you could have just, yeah, I know. Good. It's working like it's supposed to. Try running / effect give at player night vision infinite 1 false. Yeah, you know, I could do that, right? I could just keep it on all the time. There's some situations where I want to simulate running the maze, like when I was over here. Is it this one? Drop tunnel, yeah. Sometimes I want to simulate, you know, the player actually running the maze. And so I don't want the night vision at that point. Right, like when I'm doing testing like this, like right now I have the so I want to show the players, right? Like what it's like. I want to show the viewers what it's like to be a player in this situation, right? And so I don't want the night vision on all the time, but you know, I'm pretty much finished with this feature in the game for right now. So yeah, effect clear when you don't want it, right? So yeah, we can certainly do that for now, right? That way I don't have to keep doing the potion, right? So let me see. I think it's effect at and oh, give. Right. Yeah, I could do player, but you know, Thunderhand's right there. Why not, right? And then I think it's what tonight _ vision, right? Is it infinite? And then 1, and then false. Oops. There it is. Like that. There, that's better. And now we can see, right? Thank you, villager. And see, that's why we have back seating on. That's why I like it when you guys drop in. Saves me time. Did I? Yeah, see, so that closes up in back of us. And for here, I could just do spectator mode, right? Suspicious Stews. There he is. What are you doing up there? Suspicious Stews. Suspicious Stews. Yeah, that was a whole other stream. Yeah. And again, I got to do the timing on this. Oh, and it's because I did the, yeah. All right. There we go. And of course, that sign won't be there. Once we get everything into place, we'll take the signs down. But then there's no indication of where they came back up through the maze. I don't know if it's a habit thing, but you can hit tab to autofill from the selections. It pulls up your typing. Yeah. In fact, I think you saw that I just did that with a Thunderhand, right? Yeah, like I did, well, see, even if I did, effect, if it's like alphabetically close to the top, like E isn't too far away, then it's probably worth just scrolling down like this, right? Right, and then if you skip, like this, you can do like give again, if it's alphabetically close, but it's sometimes you just type the first couple letters. Right, and then you can tab for that, yeah. I didn't see if you did it. Some people type really fast. I don't type fast at all. So, yeah, that's why I rely on that so heavily. All right, yeah, so we were placing the bus. We were doing this over here. And let me see. I actually want a sticky piston for that, because I needed to retract that block afterwards. Let's just use these like this and this like this. How am I doing for time here? Oh, I'm almost at break time. Almost. Like that. Okay. So when this slides into place, it should activate that, and when it retracts, it should deactivate. Good. So older son, if you're lurking right now, inverter gate right there. there's your gate. This one here I can do. I kind of want to put that there to bring it upward a little bit, but I'm thinking no. And I'm also thinking I probably want T flip-flops for these. But not necessarily. Let me see what the action is. Like, this is double action for a button, but it has a T flip-flop behind it, right? So if I did, for example, if I did this and I had a lever. Oh, wait. Let's look at the action. Hold on. Yeah, no, that works. Right. Okay. So let's connect up all this stuff together first. I'm thinking... we on the same level here? Yeah. Like that. And then we'll have to, we can run something down from observers with that. So yeah. So we can activate those 3 features all at the same time. And we can time it just right too, whereas this one activates first. Actually, that would activate second. This would activate first. All right, yeah, we could do that. So what I'm thinking of doing is having the command block spawn in the redstone block here. That would fire everything up. And then when everything's complete, it'll just delete the redstone block when it's done and shut everything off. That's what I'm thinking. When my keyboard works, I can rattle off my username pretty quick. I can barely type like 1, 2, and 3 letter words. That's one of the reasons why I'm not a programmer, by the way. I'm actually a pretty good programmer. Pretty darn good programmer. It's just that I can't type at all, right? And so that... Because I had to learn like C++ and JavaScript, a little bit of HTML, but mostly JavaScript and C++ for my math degree. And then I had to learn some like sort of C derivative kinds of things like Python and MATLAB and some things like that. So, but, and I could write some pretty good programs. My professors were pretty impressed, but the problem is I just can't do anything in like a timely fashion at all because it just takes me forever to type stuff, right? So, Kachi, on the other hand, no, he's just right out. He's super cool. All right, so yeah, I'm thinking of something like this. And how do I want to go about this? I may actually kick this out by about 1 more block, depending on how I want to have it activate. Younger generation has much practice trash talking about playing shooters. Yeah, I guess that's one way you could look at it. But even when I was younger, I couldn't type. I've never been able to. I've never had the coordination to do that. All right, so yeah, let me think about this. I could send a signal upward. And, you know, I could do like the really old school, I could do the really old school torch tower. I could do that. I'm not fast unless I'm sloppy. Especially when my keys are dying. I hear you. Oh, hey, Nova, by the way, and Villager, and anybody else who's interested. I watched a YouTube short today where using a copper golem, walking back and forth between loading items into a chest and then taking items out of a chest, walking over, dropping them into a chest with a hopper that feeds them back. The player was using that as a clock to make a clock out of that, which I thought was actually pretty cool. I might try to do that on Buffooncraft. We'll see. Yeah, I might. In fact, I might even try it here because I do need a clock for this feature down here. So, because otherwise it's making this kind of half hopper clock that I improvised over Etho's hopper clock here, which I'm really proud of this. This is a cool little thing. But I was just going to take that and move it over here. Not move it, but copy it over here, right? There's Jeppo. I wonder how you can make it longer, making them walk through water or honey blocks. Yeah, I'm sure you could do things like that. I mean, is it really practical? I don't know. It might be, might not be. It's just really silly looking and funny looking. So it's a cool kind of clock, especially if you're not going to hide the clock behind anything and you want the player to see it. So you have this like Rube Goldberg kind of setup where it's just silly to look at and stuff. I think it would be a cool thing to do. For random clocks for games or something like yeah, probably. Yeah. Welcome on in, Jeppo. You all can see the auto shout out there for Jeppo Tastic. I'm at the halfway point of the stream. I need to run like 3 minutes of ads, and then I will be right back. Imagine using slime block launchers to toss them around. Imagine using the slime block launchers just to toss any mob like that around. It would look funnier because the copper golems are small. But you could do that with a number of mobs, right? Like the famous Gimli dwarf tossing scene, right? Okay, I'm going to take a quick 3-minute break. I will run some ads and then I will be right back. Jeppo, stay there. We'll be right back. Hey there, welcome back. Now we need to be in standing mode. Done. All right, for some reason I'm being really indecisive about this. I have no idea why. Let's do this. I don't need the command blocks here, but I would just like to, if I don't have the command blocks and I'm just running them straight here over to the piston that activates this and stuff, I just don't really have a lot of clearance here in the roof. What's your clearance? So it's, you know, it's just a matter of finding a little bit of room where we can put this in. Also, I'd like this one to fire just a little bit before each of these. Not much so. Like this. Ooh, like that. This would fire a little bit ahead of that one. And then I could do something here. Can bring this out in a couple of different directions here. I suppose if I brought this out by one more block, that would make that a little bit slicker. Maybe something like I had it before. I probably had it like this before. Probably had it out to here, right? I was probably doing something like that. But if that were the case, I'd have to go out even one more longer. But now we're starting to get a little silly with this. That would be two there. That would be one there like this. Now we're getting pretty far away. I might be able to thread one in right through here, but yeah, I don't like this. This is too clunky. This is too clunky. Even for janky redstone, that's too clunky. I don't like it one bit. I like something like that. And then from here, you know, I could go on, I could carry through, but I could also go to the outside. Because I do want this one to fire just a little bit after that one right there. That's a little bit janky, but it's not that bad. I could bring it out to the inside here too. I could do that, but it's getting a little too close to that redstone. And I'm thinking of having the tower come up right through to there. Now, I've forgotten whether a redstone source will carry through a target block or not. One way to find out. No, it's good. Yep. That's good. All right, so our first step should be right up here. Parkour. All our parkour features. Everything's looking good. And when this is removed, they all disappear. All right, I like that. I like that. That certainly works well enough. So we'll simulate the activation block being here. Or, you know, I do want, okay, I need to have the barrier be put into place and the hallway to be flooded at the same time. Those are the first two things that have to happen. Then the parkour features pop into place immediately after that. This stair here has to pop in slightly before these two do. So I can put a little bit of a delay on that. That's not bad. This is a little bit too long here. Let's try this. Wow. Okay. I like that. Yeah, nice. Okay, that works. I like the timing of that. Okay, and here's where the command block is going to be. Command block's got to be in this kind of area first. It's got to activate. It's got to activate this circuit first before it activates these. For some reason, my brain is having trouble sorting right now. But I'm thinking. I need to adjust my mic. Well, something like that. There we go. That's better. I'm thinking, how do we do this now? How do I want to put this into place? So hit that first, hit that second, and then all of this needs to be activated third and otherwise. And I'm thinking all of that's going to be activated right there. All right, so I would need a two-stage command block. I need one command block to, well, unless I use the right kind of if line. Like if player at these coordinates, then spawn redstone block here. That activates these. Now I could do spawn redstone block there, and then have this activate a piston. That extends that redstone block up to there. That activates these. I could do that. Now, I don't want to put the redstone piston on top, the redstone block on top, because then I think we get quasi-connectivity stuff. That's why I either want it in the back or I want it on the side. In fact, if I want to be extra cautious about quasi-connectivity, I could always do something like that. Because then you get... Huh? Maybe not. I am now back. Welcome back, Jeppo. How are things over there in the lands of the Nether? Hey, I think your timing's a little bit better over there now, right? Because you're, I'm thinking nine hours ahead of me now. To be honest, I am trying to math, but my brain isn't braining. Oh, really? What you mathin'? Okay. What you mathin'? Trying to reflect a point 16 ways around the origin, but offset slightly. Wow, it's almost 11. Okay. With the same radius? Or on a square grid? So, 16 ways. That would be 4, 4, 4, and 4. So each quarter would have 3. Right. Cartesian, but it's annoying. Well, that's going to be dihedral group 4, so you could look at it in two different ways. You could look at it as reflecting, or you could look at it as rotating. I don't know if you remember polar coordinates, but that's what you're trying to do is a heck of a lot easier in polar coordinates than it is Cartesian coordinates, because then you only have radius and angle, right? But then you need to parameterize back and forth, right? If you remember that. So, let's see. I'm going to put that there, because then we can have the command block spawn that in right there. Yeah, just doing that straight out with Cartesian, it isn't hard. It's just awkward, right? Polar's better, but then you have to parameterize, so you have to go back from Cartesian to polar, and then back to Cartesian. So you have to use the Cartesian Pythagorean, the sine squared theta plus cosine squared theta equals 1 thing to go back and forth between the coordinates, right? So all right, so if I do this, right, when the command block will place that there, it then needs to transfer a signal hup to here. Now, what's the best way to do that? I'm trying to remember how to program. You know, are you having them propagate 1 point at a time all the way around, or do they just propagate all 16 of them instantly? If you don't mind me asking. Because one involves just one command with all the 16 locations, and the other, well, you know, right, has a loop, right? All 16 at once. Okay, well, there's no loops, so that should be good. I have 8 now. Yeah, it's just getting the chords, right? Do the six, this is what I was trying to get at earlier. Do the 16 points all have the same radius? So are they arranged around the point with the same radius in a circle, or are they arranged around it in a square? Which means some of them will have a radius of 1, and then some of them will have a radius greater than 1. Some of them, like if you were doing them a unit distance, 4 of them would have a radius of 1. If it were a square, 4 would have a radius of root 2, and then I believe the remaining 8 would have a radius of root 2 over 2, something like that. Circle looks better, yeah. Oh, circle's easier too. So, again, if you're going to use polar. Are you doing that in C pound, C++, Java? You're probably doing that in Java, right? Okay, so you've probably already mathed it out, and now you're just trying to get it into your program, right? Let me see. Transmit circle up. Should I do an inverted? Should I go old school with this? Should I go old school with this and just make a tree tower? That would line up with that. We would have something here. It is a little awkward the way it's placed. I could do something really annoying with pistons, but I don't like pistons working. Like this working vertically, I think is actually going to be a problem. This actually has to slide in horizontally from the side. Yeah. Let me see. Standard torch tower, maybe. It is so hard to think on stream like this. I drive myself nuts. This is why most streamers won't improvise like Redstone on stream or something. They'll work it all out ahead of time. All right, I think that's actually a better way to do it. Is this on the same axis? No, it's not, but that might be a good thing. That would spawn in a block there. And then we'll have to see how the... We'll have to see how the torch tower works out, like... Because default should be that. And then when the block appears, it should engage that. Right? So actually, this should be one block back. Right, so I need this slightly backwards. Let me see. Oh, I could do this. Off, on, off, on. Okay, so I do need it backwards from that. Oh, wait, no, that's engaged. That's good. Disengaged. Engage. Yeah, okay, that's good. And the cool thing is I can use the repeater here to put a delay on that. So this acts slightly before that does. I like it. Okay, so yeah, it's a little bit janky. It's not bad. One of the other reasons why I went with Torch Tower here is to make this delay a little bit longer than that one is. So, plus it's kind of easy to suss out, right? So, I suppose if I wanted this to look a little cooler, I could put that torch like right under here, but like that. So yeah, I could do that kind of thing. And then the command block would spawn the block in there like that. And then take it out like that. I could do that. Yeah, that's not bad. It'll work. It'll do. The one's offset by 22.5 degrees, yeah. Because you'll have the 4, and then you'll have the 45. That'll give you 8. But then you need the other 8 on either side of that, so the 22.5, yeah. I think I need a bigger pad of paper. Circle is prettier. Yeah. The JS file. The math I did with square math. I want circle math. If you're going Cartesian, that's going to be the x squared plus y squared equals r squared, right? And again, if you're going units on that, right, it's going to be, the radius will be 1 all the way around, but the angles will change, right? 1 root 2 for the 45, right? I'm telling you, Polar would be so much easier. And they should have a library. Whatever program you're running, whether you're doing it in Java. Well, I don't know if Java has a library or not. It's been a long time since I've done that. Yeah, but Polar is better. Because you're programming language like it's C Pound or C++, or I don't think anybody uses C++ anymore. But those languages understand the sine function and the cosine function. I don't know what the syntax would be, though, but then you could put the angle in. You just have to remember that the angle is counterclockwise, not clockwise. So it increases in a counterclockwise direction. So. But Jeppo, why do you not open up ChatGPT and just ask ChatGPT how to do it? ChatGPT is a big help. It's a big help when you sort of know what you're doing already, though. If you have no idea what you're doing, I don't think it's helpful enough. But if you sort of know what you're doing, you know like 50% of what you're doing or something, it's really helpful. All right, so we have this, and then, I'm just going to put in wool blocks just so I can get coordinates on things. This doesn't need to be a wool block. That can be that. But this can give us the coordinates. AI not allowed? What do you mean? What do you mean? It's a game jam. Oh, wait, that's right. Yeah. So you have to show, well, yeah. That's right. The contest, you're competing with other game developers, right? And there are rules in AI. That's right. Well, that's the thing, ChatGPT, if you use it right, it doesn't do it for you. I mean, it can. You can say, hey, just write the code for me. It will do that. But you could ask it like intermediary things like, like how do I do polar coordinates in Java? Right? And then you do it. You figure it out, right? But it'll just tell you what the syntax is. I mean, in that case, is it really any different than looking it up in a book or something? It's about the same, right? Or asking somebody who knows that already. It's about the same, right? So that's the way I prefer to use it. I never like technology that does stuff for me. I only like the technology that helps me do things myself, right? With one glaring exception, and that's self-driving cars. That's the only exception. Everything else, I don't want it to do it for me. I want it to help me do it myself. Well, it's just, I'm half Scottish. I'm really stubborn. I just want to do it myself, right? And so the way I use ChatGPT and stuff is just to look stuff up for me. Like something like that. I would just say, or something like this, right? What's the code? What's the command line to materialize a block or something? I mean, I'm going to look it up, or I can just ask ChatGPT to look it up for me. Is it right? Is it designing Baby Zombie Rush for me? No, it's not. It's just looking something up, right? So, because I don't want it to do this. I want to do this, right? But I don't want to waste time having to look stuff up and everything. It's no different than just having Villager on here saying, by the way, you can do the night vision command, blah, blah, blah. I can either have Villager do that, or if he's not around, I could just have ChatGPT do that. I don't see what the difference is, really. Except ChatGPT is probably a little less surly. Villager! It's a little less spicy. All right. So the next step to this now would be to try to get... how am I doing for time here? Wow. I've been having fun chatting with you guys, but... I think I'm going to need like a 2-stage command block on this. I need one to detect the player walking across these blocks. And then I need another to spawn the block into place. Unless I can do a longer, if I can make a conditional statement. If at player blah 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 coordinates, then spawn block at these coordinates. I could write something like that. Let me see. Because let's try this out. I think I can do it with, well, there would be a repeating chain command block and a chain command block. Oh, wait. Chain command block might be the way to go. So repeating block is the purple block, the purple command block. But chain is like when you put two of the regular command blocks together and it executes one and then the arrow points into the other and then it executes the second one. I'll tell you what, let's just do the command block that places the redstone block first. Because of that we're sure, and that will at least get us somewhere. Yeah, we can do that. Right? We can do that. Let's see. I forget how to do this stuff. It's the last time I did command blocks was like 2 years ago. Let me see. Is it set block? I think it's set block. Or I think the first command is run. Yeah, it's set block. Okay. Then let me see. I need to get the coordinates. Let me get these coordinates here. Oh, there's my debug. There we go. Targeted block. I need 716. And I'm looking at 64. And I'm looking at negative 1743. And then I've got a different display, and I'm just putting them on there so I can see them, so I can read them. All right, so I can do set block. And then I think it's just the coordinates, right? There it is. Oh, cool. It was smart. It looked at the ones I looked at earlier. And then I can do... like this. Redstone block. Now I forget... whether to demonstrate that needs redstone or not. For right now, always active, needs redstone. Okay. All right, so if I activate this now with a button, say, okay, so my coordinates are a little bit off. All right, so what was I looking at here? What did I have for coordinates? Targeted block, 1743. That's what I had wrong. Yeah, I have 46. Better. Nice. All right, now we need another redstone. Now we need another command block that removes that. That's not as bad as it seems. Or it shouldn't be. it shouldn't be. It should be the same line. But now it should be... oh, hold on. I don't think we need /, right? No, we don't. And same coordinates. Oh, wait. If I do this right, I could do Control-C, copy. Then I could do Control-V, modify, paste. And then I can just do Minecraft air. Like that. Done. Nice. Okay. Now, there's something you can also do that hides the command in the chat like that. I'll have to remember what that is. But the idea now is now we need a command block that'll detect the player running across there. When it does, it will execute this. That will happen. All right. And then when the player presses the button to get their goodies, this will activate and retract it. So that's the idea that we need to do there. And I think I may even pull these up a little bit closer like this. Yeah, a player could slip over that, but maybe not. Because there is a little bit of a delay upon activation. So when the player gets over to here, that's when I want the barrier to be put in place. That's another thing that has to happen, right? The barrier needs to be put in place, and the barrier needs to be removed. So there is that. So these blocks here also need to have chain blocks in them that set the barrier in place and remove the barrier. Like that. And let's... Now, I'm going to have to come back to this later, and so because we're at the end of the stream. What did you break? I didn't break anything. I actually did good. At least I think I did. I broke nothing. All right, so when this activates, these two will activate, and when this activates, these two will activate. The second one here is going to have to be the one that puts the barrier blocks into place. Now, I don't think that I have to put one block at a time, like a command block for each block. So I'll have to look up how to put like 4 slabs in a row right here. And then when I want to replace them, 4 slabs in a row like that. So I don't think I'll have to do that. I might have to, but maybe not. If that's the case, then I'll just branch off 4 blocks this way. So I'll have a row of 5 like this and a row of 5 like that, or I might make a tower. But I don't think so. I can either use a repeat block and then repeating command block, and I think I can designate in the command how many times I want it to loop. I think I can do that. Or let's do this. Just so when I come back to this, I remember. Because I'm old, my brain doesn't work well. And I won't see this again for maybe a couple of days. There we go. Okay, and this will help me remember what I'm doing and where I'm at. Okay, so let's wrap things up because we're at the end of the stream. We're actually a little bit past the end of the stream, but I think we did well. Okay, we got the bus in place that activates everybody. First of all, we cleaned up our mess from experimenting the last time. We got our bus in place to activate the flooding feature and then the parkour features. We got that all into place, so that all activates now with the activation circuit in place. And now we put at least the basic command blocks into place with the basic commands in them. so we can at least get it to spawn in the activation redstone block. Everything's in place. Then when the clock is complete, that isn't installed yet, the command block that removes that and resets. So I think we did pretty good. I think we did pretty good in this stream. You could do AND gate to make sure the players leave the gate area before the summons the gate. Yeah, in fact, yeah, the AND gate would do that. We could have it. Yeah, because there's always and this is the tricky thing, and this is one of the reasons why I had to resort to the in fact, let me make a quick note of that villager. Like that. Hopefully I'll remember that the next time. I think I will. Yeah, because we could put the condition in there like yeah, if the player crosses these blocks and some other condition, right? Then this will activate. So that way, if they come out of here, yeah, it might even be something as simple as putting 2 strips and getting the order right, right? If the player crosses this strip and this strip, then everything will activate, right? If the player comes back, right, that way they have to go in this direction, right? If they go in this direction, the and would be the order would be reversed, so it wouldn't work. It could do something like that. I have to work out the logic on it, but I think that would do it. I might use that one day. Well, yeah, you could try it out here, and then when we get this down, you could always just look at the VOD if you need to remember it, right? But I think it might be something like that, because, but it depends on whether the logic works in the order, right? It could just be simple conditional statement too. If player crosses this, well, and they cross that, then that happens. Yeah, it could be. You wouldn't want an OR gate though, because if they cross this or that, yeah, and or I'm gonna have to work out the logic gate on that, but logic gate is definitely the way to go on that. One of the other things could be the triggering of one of these features, right? So if they cross this and some other condition, then activate everything. And then that condition wouldn't be the case when they're coming out. So it could be that kind of a thing, right? Because there's the other thing, human nature. You could have a player doing this kind of thing where they're running, no, no, do I want it? Yes, no, but what do I do, right? And they could activate, deactivate, activate, deactivate. So humans, right? So, uh, so it could be that kind of a thing. It could be as simple as a clock too, right? A condition on a clock. All right. Speaking of clocks, oh wait, you would have to have 2 command blocks, one checking for each condition to be met. Yeah, yeah. Instead of that, right, right. You could run multiples in a chain, right? Like that. and if you needed more room, you could either do a tower or you could do them in other directions, right? And you could have each one sequentially activate different features, right? So it might be that this requires that to be active or not. Yeah, it could be something between the two command blocks too. Anyways, we're out of time. We'll have to work on that next time. Let's do this. So I have a thumbnail. There we go. Get some cool looking redstone in the background. There we go. That'll do it. That'll do it. Have a good one. You too, Jeppo. Thanks for hanging in. Good luck with your game jam. Let's see if there's anybody to whom we can raid out. I think Cheska was streaming earlier, and she streams for a very long time. So maybe she might still be on. And it looks like she is, and she's doing Minecraft. She's streaming Minecraft. I think she's working on her Underworld build. All right, let's jump on over and let's say hi. Thanks, man. Anytime. Anytime, gal. All right. Behold, up above, there should be the raid message in the chat. You can copy and paste that into the chat if you would like to join us along on this raid. To fellow buffoon, Cheska's a genie. Family-friendly viewers, be reminded that Genie's stream is intended for mature audiences. There's some language and some shenanigans there a little bit, but Genie's a super, super cool. She's a fellow buffoon. We have a lot of shared communities, so chances are there's people there that you know. Let's set up the raid itself. And there we go. Our raid for Cheska's Genie is now counting down. Just remember, everyone, that we do this generation stream every Wednesday from noon to 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Our next stream will be on Friday from 11 a.m. to 1 o'clock p.m. Pacific Standard Time. That will be Buffooncraft SMP Season 6. And we've just recently, thanks to Nova and Villager, updated the server to 1.21.10. So we have the spears, we have the nautiluses, we have the copper golems, we have all that cool stuff. So yeah, copper update, really, really cool. So check that out. We are also beginning all of the Christmas builds around the server. We have this year's Christmas area all chosen out, and we're starting to build there. And so several of us are contributing things already, and to get a big head start on that. So that's really, really cool. So check out Friday. And then the stream after that will be Sunday from 4 to 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. That will be Kachi time. Kachi has decided to forego the last two streams. Hopefully he'll feel like streaming on Sunday. We'll see what's going on. But if he is, please join us. If not, join us on Wednesday. We'll see what's going on then. All right, everybody, enjoy the rest of your afternoon, your evening, your morning, wherever you happen to be. Join us again next time. We are raiding out 2 Cheskas right now. Bye for now, everyone.